Morning traders, it's Friday 25th of October 2019. Crispin here from FX AlgoTrader. This is a video datasheet for the Pivot Scanner Confluence service. The way you access this tool is you go to the product catalog within the JFX or Java toolset, and if you subscribe to this service you can then access the Pivot Confluence Scanner, which you can see here. So this is the main screen for the control interface, and you can see here essentially we can control whether we're looking for twin confluences, that's where you have a confluence of 2 pivot levels, and triple confluences, which is a confluence of 3 pivot levels. So these pivots are derived from standard pivot calculations. So what you can see here is a chart with standard daily, weekly and monthly pivots on it. It's a euro-dollar chart running on an H1 time frame. And if you look at the interface, we've set it up so that we're scanning for twin level pivots, including M levels, i.e. intermediate levels, and we're looking for confluence of 10. That means that so basically we'll set a maximum distance between those pivot levels of 10. So for a confluence to exist, the 2 pivot levels must be within 10 pips of each other, and we've got a price proximity of 10 pips as well. If we look at you show confluence data up here, in a second you'll start to see the actual real-time calculations coming through. So let's just make things a little bit easier for ourselves. Let's get rid of that screen. We'll move things to where we can see them and make this chart a little bit bigger. So you can see here it's telling us we've got a central daily pivot, which is PP level 1. That's just the level 1 pivot's always daily, level 2 are weekly, and level 3 are monthly. And it's saying we've got a level 2 pivot, which is a weekly central pivot, and the pivot proximity is 9 pips. So if we measure those, we should find that the distance between the two is 9 pips, which you can see there. And the mid price is 1.11755, which is essentially the difference between the bid and the offer price. And your pivot level is 1.1120, which is this level here, which is taken from the central pivot. And so essentially it's telling you here the distance to the pivot is 2 pips, and that's the distance between where we currently are and the pivot level. And our trigger level is 10 pips, so we've set basically a proximity alert channel of 10 pips around our pivot level here. So these are examples of twin levels, twin confluence levels, so 2 confluence levels coming together. And we can see here we've got on the euro dollar we have a confluence level created by 3 pivots, so S2, WS1 and MR1 are within 16 pips of each other. So let's just check that out. So we've got, what is it saying? So S2, WS1, so let's have a look, that's down here I think, yeah. So it's this level here, and they are within 16 pips of each other, these 3 levels, and you can see that. That's true. Sorry, 9 pips of each other, yes. So S2, WS1, MR1, yes, MR1, WS1 and S2 here within 9 pips of each other, and the current price action is 67 pips away from that. So if you measure that roughly speaking, you can see we've got about a 67 pip differential between that triple level down here and where price currently is. In the same way, we've applied the same system to other charts or other symbols. In this case this is all FX, so this is dollar, yen and cable. And you can see on dollar yen we're getting some confluence data around the R1 and WR1 level and R1 and WM3 level. I won't show that on the chart because the reason being is that I don't have any levels loaded up. So the important thing to realize here is this data is coming from a server, so it's being updated in real time. What I've done here on this MT4 chart is loaded up the the same indicators which are used to calculate the actual pivot level data on our server. So I wanted to show how we arrive at this data here by doing the measurements which are derived from the version 1 indicators which we use. So what you'll find is that if you're using another pivot application, or in fact some of our pivot products on your account, the levels that you see here will be a little bit different, because these levels here are calculated on an Aussie dollar demo account via FXCM. So those levels will be a little bit different. However, it doesn't really matter, because providing you're measuring like with like, i.e. you're looking at Confluence levels based upon one central brokerage platform, so this is all coming from the FXCM Aussie dollar demo account, then the Confluence data is what you're really interested in. And your levels might be a few pips out, but it doesn't really matter, because this system is telling you that there could be a reaction point around twin or particularly triple pivot levels. So again, we're looking at this triple level here with central daily pivot, central weekly pivot, and MMM4. Possibly you could see some reaction, price reaction around here. And then what you need to do now is, once you've actually identified a pivot level, is look at what price action is doing in the big picture. And we've seen a downtrend. This is an hourly chart, so actually let's wind out a little bit. So looking at basically overall an uptrend, a downtrend, a little bit of an uptrend here, and then basically a big sell-off. And then the question is this recent little tick up, which you see here, is this going to be met by resistance around this triple level pivot, which you could argue has been the case. So let's have a look at our Confluence data again. We're looking at this triple level pivot here around central daily, central weekly, and MMM4. It's quite a broad area of Confluence here, not as tight as you probably want it to be, but you've certainly seen price reject from the central daily pivot. And essentially that's what you need to do with this system, is you're looking for a confluence of pivot levels, and by using this scanner service you don't have to mess around going through each chart and spending ages trying to work out what's what. It'll just tell you straight away exactly where you need to be looking in order to try and plan your trades accordingly. So that's how the system works in principle. The controls that you can access, again, you can have alerts based on twin or triple levels. You can obviously look at the alert history, which you've seen down here. We're getting alerts on dollar yen, same prices within 9 pips of WR1 and R1 and WM3. We haven't set a sound file for that. You can obviously change which pairs you've got on your list here. So the scanner will actually, I think there are about 20 active pairs which you can monitor at the same time. Obviously the more pairs you monitor, the more system resource you're going to use, so bear that in mind. There's no point in throwing the kitchen sink at it, because it will just run more slowly. And ultimately that's really about it. So summary is, you can monitor twin and triple pivot confluences based upon standard pivot calculations from the daily, weekly and monthly pivots. The data is coming from an FXCM Aussie dollar demo account which we manage, and that data is being uploaded to our servers, which is then being accessed by the Confluence data program, which sits locally on your machine. Again, there will be a difference between the levels that you see and the levels which are in here, because obviously prices vary between each brokerage platform a little bit, and also time zones come into it as well. So that will affect how your pivots display. If you are interested in hyper accurate pivots, you might want to look at our Java based tools, which I'll show you here. We've got a range of client side pivot products. If you go into, let's have a look, pivot systems down here, we have a whole range of, so you've got daily, weekly and monthly standard pivots, 6 monthly rolling pivots, daily Fibonacci pivots, predictive pivots and 3-month rolling pivots. All of these are accessed through our Java interface, so these will all display the exact pivots on your charts. They're hyper accurate, They can be tuned to match your time zones using shift windows and all kinds of sexy stuff like that. So if you want to get involved with super accurate pivot systems and have highly configurable alerts based upon individual levels, then you might want to look at some of our pivot products, which are not supplied as a service. They are perpetual licenses, so once you buy them, you've got them for good. But if you want a Confluence service, which is going to tell you where confluences may occur, and you just want to get that data up beginning of the day, then you might be interested in our scanner service. So you can see that on our website under products, and if you go down to FX Pivot Confluence Scanner, that'll take you straight to the page. Anyway, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thanks for watching.